So this video is going to help you with the assignment, what is food? The assignment, the main portions are pretty simple. You're going to start by researching carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins and what our body uses them for. Then you'll go through and read this article. As you do, you'll answer these questions as well. The part where you need this video really comes down to these questions here. They're dealing with this chart. Now, this chart is definitely on a level beyond what we would ever cover in this class. This chart goes through all of the known chemical reactions that occur during metabolism within a human cell. Uh, I'm going to briefly just kind of discuss a couple of different things to kind of cover these. So on the chart, it asks what color is associated with carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins. So if we look over here, where I can manipulate things a little better, carbohydrates or sugars are here in the pink, fats are in the green, and then proteins are listed over here with the blues colors. So if we go through, our body prefers to metabolize glucose. And the reason that is will hopefully become apparent as I'm talking. But to understand why, we need to understand this molecule right here. So this molecule is called ATP. ATP is the energy currency within the cell. So whenever we have ATP going in, that means we've lost ATP. If we see ATP going out, so say the arrow goes like this, then it says ATP, that is gaining ATP. We also want to be aware of this molecule here, NADPH or NADH, sorry, NAD plus and NADH over here, because those convert into ATP within the cell. So if you see NADH, that means you're going to be gaining an ATP later on within the cell. So if we look at glucose, glucose is our body's favorite molecule to metabolize, which will, like I said, will become apparent soon. So you've heard the saying, it takes money to make money, or you got to spend money to make money. So to start off, we have glucose, and we have to use 1 ATP right here, as was mentioned earlier, just to begin this process. As we continue down this process, you see right here, we have to use a second ATP. So at this point, we have lost 2 ATP, or 2 energy. As we continue down this pathway here, we finally begin to make some money back, or some energy back. We gain an NADH and we gain an ATP. Then finally down here, we gain a third ATP if we count this NADH that was right here. So this leaves us ending this cycle at a +1 ATP. That then creates a molecule called pyruvate, which is going to go into the citric acid cycle, also called the Krebs cycle. Then, as it goes through this cycle, we can see we gain an NADH here, and as we follow these arrows, we gain another here and here. We gain a GTP, which is like a little brother to ATP. We gain an FADH2, which also converts into ATP, and we gain an NADH here. But not only that, for each time a glucose molecule goes through this, it actually, one glucose molecule will go around this circle twice. So we had +1 ATP right here. Then we're going to go 2, counting here, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we go around a second time, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that means in this case we would have a positive 13 ATP. Now, the thing is that glucose is not the only thing that could be metabolized. We also have fats. Fats could be metabolized as well as proteins. If you see here in our fat cycle, we have citrate right here. And citrate will enter into this cycle if we follow this path right over here. And so citrate will go through, and the same thing, we'll be able to grab these other ATP. Now, the big difference, though, is that in the process of metabolizing fats and getting to the citrate, it has a higher ATP cost. Okay, to digest the glucose, it costs 2 ATP. To digest fats and get them to this molecule, citrate, it costs even more. And so that means that in the end, we get a lower net yield of ATP. Let's just say, and I'm just throwing out numbers, that we only gain 8 ATP. And so our body prefers glucose because glucose gives us a higher yield outward of ATP. We gain more energy from glucose than we would from fat because the fat takes more energy in order to digest. But then, as we're going through this cycle, if we have so much fat that we have more than we, or sorry, if we have so much energy that we have more energy than we need, then our body will take that same citrate and it'll convert it in reverse back over to here to then convert it and store it in our body as fats. So we actually, because we live in a time where food is readily available, we actually want to lower the amount of carbohydrates or sugars that we eat because those leave us with excess energy that we do not need. And so when we have excess energy, our body will take that material and convert it into fat stores. And so that's part of why it's so important to have a good diet. So with this and that I've talked about, you should be able to answer the last two questions on the assignment and get it turned in.